Hi, it's one with JMQ Art, and today we're gonna be painting a Nikki tutorial portrait. And the first thing I'm gonna be doing is to block in the background with some pink. And I'm just gonna build it up slowly, writing up the edge, not to eat up the actual hair. And I paint the background first to block in the overall image so I can have something to bounce off my color against, because sometimes when you have too much white it throws off the shade you're trying to get in and give you the wrong tone when you're applying it. Right now I'm using my color mixture of 1585 to shape in the lips, going softly, and each time you see me move the airbrush around, I'm moving the texture lines to the directions of the lips to follow the contour the lips have and give it that organic texture. And you can also use a piece of paper, just rip it, and on the torn side just hold it against the painting and just spray it very lightly in layers. You don't want to go too dark because then you'll have a bruise on the lip, especially when it's a makeup one. It's gonna look like a really bad blemish on it. You can also use pencil erasers, hard abrasive erasers, and the X-Acto blades to scratch off paints and give you a more crisp highlight to give more definition to your actual painting. I'm using watercolor paper, so if I pull too much, it will rip the paper off. But if you use a hard substrate like an aluminum panel or a gesso board, you can actually get sharper highlight textures that make an image pop off like crazy, like it's a full-blown photograph with minimal effort. You just gotta get the practice of moving your erasers and X-Acto blades to the direction that you see the highlights in, because you gotta go quick and fast and make sure you don't damage the area at all. And I always like to start out by working the darkest areas first and build from there. So right now I'm just working the under part of the nose and the nostrils, just giving it shape. Then at the very end I'm gonna come back with solid black to color it in, to give it that full contrast it's gonna need to set the colors apart. Also, a good way to preserve your highlights is to build up in layers your paint and softly keep erasing the areas you want to keep white or the lightest tone. That way when you come back, you can give an upper spray wash on the whole area to give it that super soft tone instead of being completely off-white, just to make it blend and transition a whole lot better. And right now I'm using a freehand shield to give me that sharp edge that the makeup photo had, just to block in the overall shape. And you come back and do one whisper at a time. And if you're on a hard surface, you can come back with an X-Acto blade and peel off one single strand at a time to give you a super sharp highlight and give more contrast and definition to the image. And right now I'm using the same freehand shield just to block around the eyes, so I can build in the lashes, the pupils, the iris, and everything in, to build it up slowly and control my overspray. And you gotta make sure you use an air pressure that you're comfortable with, Right now I had to drop the air pressure for this whole painting to about 50 psi, because it also depends on what airbrush you're using and your skill level. Some airbrushes are made to work with about 20 psi or even less, because they're fine-tuned for that. The airbrush I have is a general purpose airbrush that's made to do t-shirts, large murals, or fine portraits, so I'm right in between everything. Since I got used to painting at high pressure, which I usually paint about 80 psi, I just practice with that and just go with the flow. On the last portraits I've done with that pressure, because it's on paper, I had a little bit of blowout, so I had to drop it down to make this one a bit better.